Welcome, yogi friends. Today, go ahead and grab any props that might make you feel more comfortable, as always, to make this your personal practice. We'll start here on the mat, reclining. My intention today is for us to get a little bit of everything. So some openness, a little bit of strength, a little bit of balance, and we'll work on front and back body. So let's go ahead and start by reclining. As you come all the way down, just let yourself land here for a moment, keeping the feet on the mat, the knees bent. You could let your feet or your knees drop together. Just let your feet spread out about the width of your mat. And taking a deep breath in with your exhale, just let the entire body settle into the mat, being supported by the ground underneath you. Bringing your awareness into the space that's first around you, so whatever room that you're in or space you happen to be in today. And start to bring your awareness into the body and the breath that's moving in and out of your body. Check in with your shoulders. Notice if you're holding any tension here. And see if you can relax them just about 10% more. Checking in with your face, the jaw, the muscles, and the mouth, and see where the tongue is. If it's pressing up against the roof of the mouth, go ahead and release the tongue away from the teeth. Finding a softness around the eye sockets. Notice if the ribs are feeling as though they're kind of lifting and opening to the front body, and then draw them back down. Let the spine just become real heavy toward the mat. Your low back may or may not be touching the mat. It doesn't really need to touch the mat, but we just want to make sure that we're not creating a big arch behind it or that we're over tilting back into the pelvis. So we're just continuing to let the pelvis stay a little neutral, maybe a little bit more heavy right behind the belly button. And just take a deep breath into the midsection. Feel that breath expanding all the way down to your pelvic bowl, and then exhale. On your next breath, let the knees separate. So the feet are already about the width of the mat here. If they weren't already, go ahead and take them to that space. And letting the knees drop from side to side slowly, just beginning to create a little more twist through the spine, stretching through the inner and outer thighs. Maybe even finding a little massage here on the outer hip. As you let your legs and your hips become very heavy and you roll across that outer hip area and the knees falling, you might find that little massage from the bone to the muscle to the floor. And then coming back to center for just a moment, I want you to heel toe your feet out even more so they're just along the outer edges, so right off of your mat. And the knees dropping over to the left, and take a pause. So once you're here, just make an assessment of how your right leg is feeling, how your knee feels here. If you feel like you could add any weight to the top of that without discomfort, taking the left ankle and just placing it across the right leg, and see how that feels. Once again, make any adjustments that feel right for you. So I'm going to back my right foot over to the right side a little more to drop that knee down. And if it doesn't feel right for you, just release that left leg off of the right leg. You want to be mindful that you're not placing the ankle bone right on top of your leg. So I usually just try to wiggle that down a little further. Taking another deep breath in with your exhale. Let your right hip slightly dial up towards your chest as your right knee drops further toward the floor. Take the right arm, reaching it up over the head. Full body stretch from that right side down. Breathing in deeply into the right side waist. Exhale it out. You could even turn your head over to the left. Notice if your left shoulder has kind of crept up by your ear and just relax it down a little bit. Closing eyes is always a great place to be when you're here and you're reclining and you're in a space that's very safe and you don't have to worry about your balance. Bringing that awareness inward. Let's take one more breath. As you bring your right arm back down and then releasing your left foot from the right knee. And then as you take the legs back up, go ahead and take that sway again, side to side a few times. Feet still wider than your mat. And then dropping your left knee down. Let it rest. And then possibly taking your right ankle and resting it across the left leg. Always take an assessment, see how you feel. You might even feel something that's in your low back, not just in your knee. So I want you to be mindful of how you're feeling here. Try to pull that left side down a little bit and then continue to let the left knee drop. And then you can take the left arm, sweep it up over the head. Starting to try to place a little bit more weight back to that left side waist toward the floor. Turning the head to the right. Big full breath in, exhaling out slowly. Take one more full breath. Releasing left arm down by side, your nose toward the sky. Right leg lifts off the left. And once again, just create a little windshield wiper side to side. We come back to center, bring the feet onto the mat. So just heel toe the feet back to the mat, about parallel with one another. We'll take the right knee in, just give it a little hug down toward your chest and hold it here. You can hold on behind the leg, right here behind the knee, or on top of the shin, whatever feels most appropriate for you. With your inhale, go ahead and rock your hips slightly forward. It's going to bring your knee away from your chest. So meaning we're going to tip the pelvis forward. You're going to find a little space behind your back. Keep your leg drawn as close as you can, but it's going to move with your pelvis. And now draw the pelvis under so that you're tucking the tail a little bit and draw your knee in closer. Inhale, slight shift forward. It's not a big shift. You just feel more weight towards your tail or onto your sacrum. And then exhale, tuck the tail a little more and draw your knee in a little closer. And one more time, we're going to inhale and exhale. A little bit of a tuck here. Now taking your left leg, sending it down the mat, continuing to draw your right knee in, a slight little tuck on your tail, and pushing out through the left foot and the right foot, both flexed. Relax through the shoulders, the jaw, the face. Sliding your left foot slightly more into center, leg is still straight. We'll take the right knee, crossing it over the body, all the way over to the left as you rotate. There's always a few more options that could be had here, so I want you to just go with what feels right for you. So one of the options that we could take is to take that right leg straight or straighter. It may not straighten out all the way. So this is another option for you. If you want to take a little lift, so take your left arm out to the side. We can lift the shoulders just a little bit, reach up, bending the left knee, bottom leg, and taking hold of that ankle. If that does not happen, it's okay. It's just your option that you know that you can take if it's something that feels good for you. So rocking your right shoulder back down, whether or not your left leg is bent or not. Our chest is still toward the sky. You can hold on to this straight leg or bent knee on this left side, the right leg. Take 2 more rounds of breath. So if anything's not feeling like it quite fits your body, just let it go and go to what feels good. And then we're going to release by releasing the bottom leg if you're holding it. Bend the top leg and then come back to center. As you roll back to center, just repositioning yourself here and taking your left foot to the floor as you cross your right ankle over. So now we're in that little figure 4 position, lifting the feet off the mat or the foot off the mat. Right hand goes through that triangle, left hand goes behind. Holding on to your left leg, bottom leg. And this could be done with a strap or something nearby that you can thread through besides just your hands. Continue to take deep breaths, relax the shoulders. The feet are flexed, and as you exhale, maybe you can draw that leg in a little closer as the top leg, right knee, is pressing away from you. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. Releasing, take left foot back down, right leg follows, and then bringing left knee up. So give it a hug, holding on to the left side. Inhale, rock the hips slightly forward. Exhale, draw the tailbone under just a bit more, rocking your knee towards your chest. The right foot stays solidly planted on the floor. Inhale, rocking. Exhale, and a little tuck. Relax the shoulders. One more here. Inhale. And exhale, bring it in. Pausing, both feet flex as you drop that right foot all the way down the mat, pressing it out to the end. Straightening right leg. Rib cage is heavy, shoulders relaxed. We'll send the right foot a little closer to center. And then as you start to release with your left hand, just the right hand holding, and draw your left leg across. So again, you have the same options here. You can straighten that left leg out a little or a lot, maybe hold on to it. If you straighten it out and it goes further down your mat, like an angle, I want you just to bend that knee again. Let it stay about even with your hip as much as you can. We can lift up a little bit, take hold of the bottom foot as you bend that knee, creating a much more intense stretch there now for your hip flexor of the right leg. So just choose what's working best for you today, where you can get yourself in a space where it feels like it's being productive, but not painful. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. And then just slowly releasing. If you're holding the bottom leg, straighten it out. Bending the top knee if it was straight, and rocking back to center. As you reposition yourself, you might need to shift your hips back to center. And the right foot goes to the floor as you cross your left ankle over the right. A little reclining figure 4, reclining pigeon. Sliding left hand through that triangle and holding on to the right leg. Both feet flex, deep breath, relax the shoulders, the face, the jaw. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. Go ahead and bring it back down. Release the legs. Take a full body stretch, reaching everything out. Big breath in. Exhale, draw knees back up. Give both the legs a nice hug on top or behind the shins, the knees, wherever it is that feels good for you. And rocking yourself to one side and slowly pressing up. As you come up, we'll just flip over and finding tabletop position. So cushion the knees if you'd like to. We'll stay here for just a moment, taking a little bit of movement in and out with the spine. So letting the tops of the feet become heavy, hands right underneath the shoulders. Inhale, letting your spine fall, shoulders relax. Exhale, rounding up, hollowing out. Inhale, gentle, just arching of the back. And exhale, arcing the back like a big rainbow. A couple more each direction. And then with your next breath, moving back to tabletop, pausing, walk the hands forward, and just finding little puppies so that your hips stay in line with your knees. Let your chest fall just like you would for down dog. You're reaching forward, arms are straight, shoulders away from ears. Ribs staying drawn in gently, taking some weight toward the feet as well. With your next breath, inhale, start to lift up with the chest and the head, and now just slide your hips forward. Keep your hands where they are, and we'll slowly just make our way down, bending the elbows all the way down to the mat. So here I want you to press down through the pubic bone. Bring the hands just slightly hovering off of the mat. Tops of your feet press down, and then inhale, just slight lift up with your chest. Little floating baby cobra here. Bring it back down. So I'm still trying to keep the rib cage drawn down just a little bit, making that connection with the core, your pubic bone heavy, glutes engaged, tops of feet on the mat, slow lift up. I'm not trying to bring the chest far up. I'm just lifting the torso slightly off the mat. So one more time, little strengthening, baby cobra lift. And lower down. As you bring your hands back underneath the shoulders, fingertips about in line with the tops of your shoulders, squeeze the elbows in, turn the toes under, start to lift your hips up a little bit first, so lift your sit bones up into the air. Now scoop that tail under, push with your hands, and lift yourself up through chaturanga to plank. Lift the knees, pressing back into downward facing dog. So on your down dog, take a moment here. Pedal out through the heels. Take a moment just to shift your hips. Feel where you are in space. Your next breath, shifting forward back into plank. So your plank could be back on the knees or staying on the toes. So we could go to either one here. Squeezing your elbows back in and coming down the way you came up. So everything comes down together, elbows in. This time lifting into a basic cobra, so hands staying planted, and just a soft lift of your chest, shoulders relax down, tops of your feet on the mat. Inhale, come down. Exhale, press up, and pressing back again into your down dog. Let's inhale, come forward. We'll do that again. Practicing at your own level, knees or toes here. Lowering everything down. I want you to try to squeeze your elbows in towards your waist. Shoulders away from your ears. Inhale, tops of feet planted. Little cobra lift. Exhale down. Now to get up again. So if you have your own practice here of getting up, go for it. You can follow me by just coming to the knees, toes, knees, and then lifting your hips, tuck the tail, squeeze your elbows, and push. So you've got that core engaged. Then lifting up and pressing back. Let's take it one more round here. Inhale, coming forward. Knees or toes as you come down, one full unit. So everything hitting the mat as best you can at the same time. Inhale, little cobra. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, prepare. Now if you're going straight up with legs straight, you can do the same action without lifting your hips too much. Tuck your tails, lift those knees, push up, and press it back. Inhale, just coming down to the knees. Stepping your right foot forward. Bringing the hips slightly forward as you lift up into your low lunge. Inhale, opening up, taking your left arm up. Right hand can be on a block next to you or just resting it here on your thigh. Stretching out through the left side waist. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. And then bring that side down. Go ahead and take both hands toward the floor here. We'll lift the back knee, turning toes under. As you pause, sweeping up. Finding a high crescent lunge. Finding deep breath, gazes ahead. From here, go ahead and spiral just your back heel. Keep your right knee anchored so that it doesn't move with you to the inside. Keeping your right knee really anchored, pushing toward that right pinky toe. And then spinning just your back foot around toward the long edge of your mat. So now we're opening up, the chest is following with that, and just reaching out into your warrior two. With your warrior two, flipping your right palm up, reaching up into exalted warrior. Bring it back through, holding here. Let's bring the right arm on top, left arm underneath. Now you could stay here for a big hug, or go ahead, if you can wrap your hands, you just kind of wrap the hands around. So one hand wrapping around the wrist, the other fingers are free. Pick whichever one suits you best. So remember, your chest is toward the long edge of your mat. Your hips are open. Okay, so you're not facing your front knee at all. That right knee is tracking over toward the right side of your mat as you now just start to slowly lower yourself down right in the middle. Okay, so you're facing the long edge of your mat here. Let your head hang, and whether or not you're wrapped or just in a big hug, you're just releasing through the shoulders, the back of the neck. Let's take another deep breath. While you're here, just release your arms, let them hang forward. Spiral your right foot around to follow with your left now, so both of your feet are pointing to the long edges of your mat. Walk your hands over to the left. See if you can take hold of that left ankle with your right hand, or the calf, or wherever you can reach. And you can draw yourself down a little further. If your balance is feeling okay, you can take that left hand, just place it up on your left hip, add a little more twist. We'll start to walk our way over to the right side, same thing. So left hand to right ankle or calf, and hold. Let the head fall. And again, if your balance is feeling good here, you can take your right hand, place it up by your right hip. See if you can continue to press back into your left side while you're pulling your torso to the right, so the hips aren't shifting too much here. So I'm not trying to turn the whole body, the hips with me to that right side. Releasing the hands, and continue to spin yourself back around all the way to the right, to the top of your mat. Bring that left leg in just a bit, and we're in that pyramid stretch. So taking your props, if you've got anything in front of you that you can use, whether it's furniture or your blocks to have your hands on, take that option. Go ahead and start to bend that front knee. Walk yourself up, so left foot stepping to the right. Slowly bring yourself all the way up. We'll bring the hands right down to heart center. Okay, so taking your blocks, if you have them, or a chair or something in front of you can be helpful here. So staying here with feet parallel to start. And we'll take that left leg and cross it up and over. So I'll turn slightly. Okay, taking your left leg, crossing it up and over into a standing figure 4. So we're still facing any props we might have here for balance. Sending the hips back first, so hinging from your hips. Try not to let your front knee move forward. We're just doing standing figure 4, standing, kind of a standing pigeon. If you would like to go any further than this, you can slide that left leg all the way across into more of a pigeon wrap. Your arms can stay here, or we can take them out as well, taking your right arm on top, left arm under again, into a hug or into full eagle variation. So when you're ready, we're going to release those arms wherever you are. Top leg unwinds, send it back. Slowly take yourself forward onto your blocks or your chair or anything you have here. And then start to lower your chest down as far as you can, standing splits. Take another breath. We'll set that left leg all the way down. Foot goes behind you into high lunge. Sending your right leg up and back. And then flipping that hip open with the knee bent. So let's look under the left arm. See if you can find your right foot dangling over here. And then bring it back to center. So finding your variation of plank, it could be one leg floating plank even if you're looking for more power today, or both feet on the floor. Knees can also be all the way to the mat as you lower yourself down. Inhale, lifting up, cobra. And exhale down, pressing back. Letting yourself press all the way back for a moment. You could rest here in child's pose or stay in your down dog. I am going to flip myself around to make it easier to see. Okay. So inhale, gaze is forward. And go ahead. Walk yourself back up to the top of the mat. Inhale, coming all the way up. And exhale, hands back to heart. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, fold. As you lift halfway, stepping your right foot all the way back. Dropping right knee down onto the mat. You can prop your left hand on your thigh. Sweep that right arm up. And then just reaching over to the side to get a stretch on that right side body. Good. 2 more rounds of breath. And then bring it down. So hands going either to blocks or to your just fingertips to the floor. And we'll lift the back leg. Start to sweep up into your high crescent. Good. Shoulders relax down. Hips are nice and level. Anchoring your left knee. So like you're sending your left knee over toward that pinky toe side or left side of your mat. Continue to press it over to that side as you then slide your right heel to the floor, rotating your back foot. Now check out your knees again. We don't want that knee to track on the inside of the foot. So notice if it's falling inside and try to bring it over or turn your foot over to the left a little more as well. Okay, so rotating your chest toward the long edge. Your hips are open. We open up to big warrior 2. Deep breath in. Bring that left arm up. Side waist opening. So left arm is up, right arm is down. Moving away from your front leg. And then bring it back to center, pausing. You will take that left arm onto the top. Right arm sweeps underneath. And we move into those eagle arms or big hug, whichever variation. Try to rotate your shoulders open with your chest so they're stacked right on top and everything's pointing to the long edge of your mat. Okay, so inhale here. Keep your hips low and just start to lower yourself down right in the middle. So into a little humble variation of this warrior 2 with our wrapped arms. Take 2 more rounds of breath. As you release your hands, let them just fall to wherever they can reach. We're going to spiral that left foot now so that the right and left foot are both facing long edge again. Letting the head fall, sweeping yourself over to your right, left hand holding on somewhere to that right leg. Once again, your right hand can go up to your hip. Check out your hips and notice if your left hip is moving way far forward, and pull it back again and then hang out there. If you would like to go into a deeper twist, lift your right side, open up, roll back, and then come back down into your forward fold. Walk it over. Same thing here. Right hand holds on someplace along that left leg. Pull yourself into it for a moment. Shift your right hip back. Left hand can go to the hip or stay down. Lift your chest away from your thigh. Reach left arm only if it feels right for you. Okay, if you're feeling like you're kind of compressed or don't have a lot of space here, just stay in your fold. And bring it back down. Walk back around. We're going to spin ourselves all the way around to the left again. Walking the right foot up just maybe a few inches. Wearing off the hips, hands can be either on blocks or something elevated in front of you or to the floor. As you start to shift forward a little bit, step up and rise all the way up, getting ready for that variation. Now standing for figure four, and you can have blocks ahead of you again. So we're going to take that right ankle, cross it over, having a seat, coming down. Continue to draw up and in, deep through your core. If you'd like to have something to hold on to, you can have a wall or something in front of you here as well. Okay, so foot is flexed. Your next variation for this option is to continue to cross those inner thighs, maybe not hooking foot. Arms go out, left arm can go on top. We can move into full eagle. Or some variation that looks something like either one of those two poses. Good. Inhale, open up, unwind, send that right leg back. We're going to lift up into that, or fold forward into that standing split. So hands can be on blocks or elevated as you bring that right leg up. And then drop the right foot down as you shift back. Send your left leg all the way up and back. Hold it here, down dog. Bend the left knee, open up the left hip. And then bring it back down. Come forward into your variation of plank, foot to the floor or both knees. Slowly lowering down. Inhale, little cobra. Exhale, bring it down. Lifting up, inhale. Knees wide, toes together. Press back into your child's pose. I want you to come up, take a moment. If you have something elevated to sit on, like a block or a blanket, I'm going to roll a blanket up just a little bit, having a seat. We'll do final couple things here before we just have a little stillness. Okay, so as you have a seat, maybe elevated, it works pretty well. So I like that option the best. So we're going to send that left leg underneath. So the knee is kind of right in line with your hip here. And then see if you can take this right leg, your right leg on top, and they're going to stack somewhere. So I mean, even if they don't stack, it might look like this. That's okay. All right, but if you want to wedge something in between the two, you could do that for some support. Okay, whether it's a blanket, a block, or something else to wedge in there. Let your knees fall forward. That's why we're sitting up, elevated, so we can shift forward a little, and that might help get those knees down a bit. So let arms going out. We're going back into big hug or eagle arms. So left arm on top, right arm underneath. Moving back either into a twist or holding with the hands to the sides. Press into the elbows and lift off of the chest wherever you are. Your next option, always just an option here, but you could come forward. If you're lifting your elbows away from your chest, it's going to come forward and over your legs a little, and then round yourself wherever you can go. Just try to relax through the neck and the face, the jaw. As you release on your next breath, just relax your arms first. Slowly come back up. And then we'll just switch sides so you can lean back, unwind the legs, shake them out. Okay. Moving on, taking your right leg underneath your left leg on top somewhere to just help it up there. And if it bothers the knees, if that bottom knee is getting a little too much compression, just straighten out the leg. We will get a little more through the hips if the knee is bent, if possible. Okay, taking the arms out again, sweeping so that your right arm is on top, left arm underneath. Press the two together, lift off of the chest, slowly coming forward. Check in once again, muscles in the face, tongue away from teeth. Taking last full breath, release the arms first. Come back up, walk it up, good. Unwind the legs, you can lean back to do that. Take the legs forward. Just a seated forward bend, gentle forward bend. So never try to force yourself into it. Gently coming forward with your chest and your hips together, kind of moving at the same time, and then forward fold. Think about moving forward more than moving down. As you make your way back up, we'll take the feet together, the knees out. Just moving yourself into some variation here of a Baddha Konasana, bound angle. With a little forward bend again, we'll come forward, gently coming forward. You could hold on to your feet. Sometimes pressing with the elbows into the legs can feel nice to help open up. But wherever you are, make sure your shoulders are relaxed and away. So we don't want to find this caving in the upper body. Just relax and lead with your chest. Your hands could even walk forward or be propped onto something elevated. Come back up. So we'll just stay here in a seated position so you can find any variation of Sukhasana or easy seated pose that feels right for you. Just take a moment here. Let's do a simple twist real quick. To either side. And then back to center. So as you find that center space, just closing your eyes, let your hands rest on your thighs for a moment. We'll take a few deep rounds of breath together. And feel the energy that you've created through your body. So as you begin your next breath, sweeping arms up overhead, and bring the hands down, just letting them meet right at the heart and pausing. Bowing toward the heart center, where your eternal flame dwells and your inner wisdom resides. So I thank you for showing up today. And give yourself a moment of appreciation and gratitude for doing something good for you. Namaste.